So, what is this? We are going to review Salmon, a fish. He's at 24-23 on Volskaya, our favorite map, and he's going to be playing Orisa. So it's too far ahead. Perfect.
Good luck, everyone.
So of course, before any of this, yeah, if you get there close enough, you can, shoot the shield into the air, yada yada yada. The Junkrat. Oh god, you lost this. Oh, I thought you had to pull off there. Damn. It was a good attempt. Yep. Ryan's shield. Looks like the Genji's on point. So, it's a good thing that you're not just trying to chase the Genji. Your job is the main choke point. That was almost very well timed on his part. At this point, back up. Good halts. You're playing pretty damn good right now.
We're behind.
So put the shield behind him if you can. Okay, you can. A little overzealous of a shield, but I get you. So far you're playing very well. Hindsight's a bitch, but you gotta get back. You have no healers. Okay, there. Get back to the choke point, and essentially you need your team's damage to help you. So I would say you're just pushed up a bit too far. If nothing else, just think of, with Orisa, this is with any hero, and this is just Overwatch knowledge in general. So here's that middle building. When you're up here, think to yourself, where's your team likely to be? Probably here. After they're just getting pressured. You were so far pushed up that there was no chance for anyone over. If there's, Ana, no one had line of sight. No one had any chance to support you. I get that you're the tank and you're pushing up, so therefore you're like, oh, they should be pushing up for me. That's not the case. Essentially, pushing up gave you no advantage. But now, if you were back here and you had the shield right here, all of a sudden, oh great! If the team pushes up here, the enemy team that is, all of your teammates can shoot that guy. Also, your supports can heal you a lot easier without anything getting in the way. It was just you kind of isolated yourself by pushing up so far. Whenever you're playing Overwatch, there's kind of 3 line of sights that you need to... Well, technically 2. 2 line of sights that you gotta worry about whenever you're positioned. Right. Your support? Can my support reach me? 2, more than likely, enemy snipers, or enemy hit scan. Or just enemy line of sight in general. It gets more complex when they have flankers or snipers that are on the flank. And you have to think to yourself, okay, I'm going to use my position to isolate myself from the Widow. But allow myself to take hits from, let's say, the Reinhardt. So, Reed is trying to... Okay, he didn't have barrier. The old Orisa in a corner trick. I will say you do have a little bit of an issue with tracking.
Hold.
But again, accuracy just comes with time. Okay. Alright, you're a bit slow on using Fortify. I think this is like the third or fourth time I've noticed this.
Contest. Junkrat contest.
You're slow in doing it. If your shield goes down, understand that your shield died because people put a lot of damage on it. You can maybe wait 1 second after your shield goes down, and that's because everyone that shot your shield has to reload, or some of the people have to reload. Like as a Junkrat, I probably would have to reload after breaking your shield. But then use Fortify right after that. But in that case, it was like you needed to Fortify immediately to live there, and you waited on it.
Ryan's
Space is a resource. You can take it and give it your shield to try to do it when you pay for space.
Yes, of course. I mean, some of these space issues are like when he threw that shield down and it accidentally hit that middle piece. But most of the time he's been defending a little bit around here. Maybe back a little bit, maybe forward a little bit. But... okay, good. See right there, like you didn't really need to use it because they're all around the corner, and you were anti-healed. Not that anti-healed really matters, but yeah, you can walk out of Grav. I assume the guy knew that he was just slow on the reaction. And I would say this is tealed off, and I would say this is the spot right there is where you want to put the shield on this one. Shield? Okay. So the shield was a little bit late, right? You were holding on to it for some reason, right? I don't know if it was just slow or you were trying to make a play with the tire. And it gets taken. But Teal, you are right. Space is a resource. You want to punish teams for essentially walking. The more they walk, and this kind of goes back to the pyramid. A team is always weakest during its logistics phase whenever they're moving. When they're solid, you don't really want to deal with them. Unless, like, you have a hero that excels at, destroying them when they're solid.
I'm low, can I have some heals?
Alright, you want to back off. Because of a straight... a stray anything was going to kill you. Like so.
Installing updates.
You're trying to block the tire, but was slow. So, I would try to not be a hero and have this awesome play with tire against shield, because the guy could just run it through the shield. Alright, there you go. I was gonna question your reloading tactics, but just make sure you got 150 shots. You got a pretty good sized clip. Obviously, if you have a couple seconds of downtime, reload when you can. But if you're in the middle of combat and you're at 80 shots, just use all 80. Again, with the Fortify being late and 2... Fuck, that's a deaf team. Why did I don't know why you stopped shooting there. When you throw out a halt, just constantly shoot. You don't gotta be shooting at the halt, but you know you can constantly be pressing that Reinhardt shield. Go for the long shield. Like right there, you didn't take a single shot.
Okay, we have time.
Having a second thought about your review, I just don't know if it'll be all that great. Well, we'll deal with it. Did you not shoot at all again? Turn the corner. Alright, quick damage. So they did reduce... Orisa's...
Nice seals, dude. Nice seals.
Oh. Yeah, I mean... The guy's right on this one.
Push. Nice seals, dude. Nice seals.
You gotta start using your abilities.
System restart initial.
If you're pushing up, just throw a shield down and start shooting.
I got a res.
You saw the diva up there? Halt. Shoot her while the halt's going out. You have a bad habit of staring at halts. Yeah, I would say so. Yep. You're just kind of waiting for that to happen. The problem is when you shoot a halt,
Pull back, you're not.
a halt is... It takes a bit to activate, so... Like, right...
Reaper what, man?
You needed to be shooting a second before you hit that halt button the second time.
Go. Wait for everyone.
The diva's right above you. Okay. This is just the full back. Okay, you guys got one res. As a tank, you need to be in front. You need to start throwing down the shield.
Junkrat's halfway here. Okay.
Just don't bongo right now. Going in that room is probably... you're probably gonna make it out. So going in that room is probably a death sentence.
Get a Reinhardt. What the fuck are we doing with Orisa? What are you doing?
Yeah, this guy's upset about the Orisa. Now, it's one thing to throw a shield out there when, you know, your team's not here.
Let's wait for the other three and then we'll push it.
So here you could be taking pot shots on Reinhardt's shield. and here your team's not even ready for it. You're not even looking. Well, your hog got this.
Okay. 3.
Be focused on what's in front of you. You know no one's flanking. Bongo should already be down.
That's from above, that's from above.
Shield? Shield or bongos? Essentially you need to throw down a shield there, throw down bongos, try to get a kill. As you're moving forward, you have to be defending. You have to start pre-actively using your shield, pre-actively using fortify. If you're jumping at the like you're the front tank, you're running at them. If they have 3 or 4 damage dealers, well, I guess everything's gonna be 2 now, but
Deep is low.
you have to fortify as you're coming in. Like, here, where's your ult? Throw on the shield? Okay. You guys needed that bongo a while ago. You get it. Okay. So you notice on the push that you got it, just walking forward with the shield and fortify and then bongoing is the way to do it. You said it yourself, you notice that you just kind of stare at your halts. Obviously, you gotta break that habit. Halt?
They're going behind.
Did
No, everyone look behind.
you got one? Okay, I get that, but did you just not worry about the Hammond?
Just don't give up this choke.
A lot of them went the other way. Do they have a sim? Yeah, they do. So you saw their entire team go left, even if you don't expect the sim. Start mailing this son of a bitch. Fortify? Bongo immediately. Bongo! There you go, you're using those quick halts now. You haven't used a lot of quick halts to get damage on people. Know that with the proper tracking, a halt kills a 200 hit point hero. Just straight out, it kills them. Obviously you need better accuracy for that, but understand that halt is, I would say, one of the strongest abilities in the game currently. With an Orisa with proper tracking, they can kill a 200 hit point hero by the time halt
Orsi, are you
gets them
coming
and
with
pushes them
me,
in,
or are
pulls
you
them
going
in.
to focus on Tracer?
But a lot of these, I think it's just like stress. A lot of these just seem like issues that you don't know how to deal with stress.
Just go to the point.
Okay, there you go. Yep. Push up.
Go.
See, that's the type of halts that are really good.
Follow me.
I get that was a Reaper and you just kind of walk that through it. Keep shooting! So it looked like you stopped shooting. Oh, I gotta sneeze.
Take the point. We don't need to go that far.
It looked like you stopped shooting. Okay, and you win. You stopped shooting. Ah, the follow Boogie 228999. Man, whatever happened to that guy? I don't even know who the fuck he is. They usually only say losses, but whatever. Illegal, shut down the stream. At the end there, you stopped shooting the Orisa because of, you're like, I don't want to shoot the shield. No, you have to shoot the shield. Like, as an Orisa, what are you gonna do? Waste 10 shots? It's like, don't worry about it. You got 70 more. Yeah. So. Oh, god damn it. Okay, whatever. So. Action. Shoot more. God, this is so weird to say this. Shoot more. You have unlimited ammo. Yeah, you have a long reload, but for the love of fucking God, it's not like ammo costs $1. Shoot more. And along with this, stop watching halts. I don't mean like just throw a halt out there and don't watch it. I just mean like shoot at your halt as it's going out. You have to shoot a second before you're going to start, like, actually pull the halt in. You gotta start doing that. Position. Your positioning is okay. Again, with the first point defense, just remember support line of sight and enemy line of sight. If your team can't help you and the enemy has full view of you, you're in a bad spot. You can shoot halt into the ground and it activates quicker than your right click. Okay, well, I mean, that's cool. It's not a bad tip for when someone's right on you, but there are so many tips. This is the problem with tips and tricks. His issue isn't tips and trick related. His issue is it's just playing Overwatch. Is wasting ammo by missing still better than nothing? Yeah. Well, that's a loaded question. If you don't shoot, you don't miss. You don't know if you missed until you shot. The problem is I get that if it was a Widow or a class with like 1 or 2 shots, and then, you know, you got to reload. Okay, you got to be more careful with your shots then. But as an Orisa, you have 150 shots. You got plenty of ammo to spare. I feel like Laura says I need to push farther to make them do stuff. I don't play in lower SR, so I can't like 100% tell you. But when you were attacking that second point, and here's the choke point, like you kept on throwing a shield here. Or at first you didn't even throw shields down. And then you would try to run all the way through and then like put a shield at the point itself. You're doing 2 extremes. So your first instance of figuring out what to do is split it in half. And you'll probably see higher success there. Remember, getting through this choke point is the hardest goddamn part of any 2CP specifically, but any point that's based on a choke point. Getting through it is where all the damage gets done to you. That's where all of the damage happens. So if you can provide your team safety when doing this, do it. Allow them to get through the choke and go left or go right. If they want to stay with you, hey, they can stay with you. Whatever. But you have to get through the choke point first. And again, they did buff Orisa's speed while shooting to help exactly this. So again, keep taking shots. Remember that a Reinhardt, as long as you put damage into his shield, it's not going to heal. If he has to put it away for extended periods of time, great. But Orisa does have one of the better shield breakings in Overwatch. Her ability to break a Reinhardt shield is 17 seconds. Hanzo, Shoulder, Soldier, Junkrat, Pharah are at 16 seconds. Meaning you are 1 second behind a Junkrat in terms of shield break. You do significant damage. If you hit headshots, you fucking murk people in seconds. That's all there is to it. Orisa is very strong with DPS if you take it, if you can land your shots. As for logistics, we kind of talked about that over here. Essentially, if you throw a shield too far up, the enemy may have ways around it. Right? They could shoot around it. That's kind of what you were when you're trying to go too deep with your shield before. If you place it too far back, you cover all of these angles, but let's just say this yellow is the terrain, and there's a wall here, and there's a wall here. You actually gain no space with this. You give your team the ability to shoot behind a shield for a little bit, but technically you gain no space. So I would just say, cut it in half. If you put a shield here, you cover most of the angles. There will be some other angles. But more importantly, you kind of give your team space to run left or run right, depending on the map. And getting out of the choke point is the most important part. Usually the heavier classes, so basically the guy that's playing tank with you will stick with you a little bit. And then your supports are basically purely on you. The 200 hit point classes will kind of go their own way and do what they want to do. But most importantly, get in there, throw a shield down halfway, allow your team to get in, start working. Logistics, we gotta talk about that. Oh, fortify. Fortify a little bit faster. And I think this is gonna have to do with this. Just I don't know if you're trying to perfectly time stuff, but don't go for that perfect play like you did with the shield against Junkrat's tire. As you're walking in, you did this like 3 times. You ran in and like a Junkrat just shot you 4 times in the face and you died. You didn't even use fortify. You didn't use fortify to get out of the grav, and while they're taking, while you're taking a lot of damage. You weren't using fortify. You were using it actively, but like it felt like you were using it. You were thinking about it way too much. It should just be like, look, I'm taking obscene amounts of damage. I gotta take half damage so I get support and live, and then use it. But I think this comes down from information standpoint, and this may not even be information, just mentality. Are you like super pressured or stressed when you're playing? Because it feels like you are. Let's see what he says. He's not saying anything. Come on, Sam. You make me look bad for YouTube. I feel like I'm blamed by the team a lot. Well, I mean, that's not a... Look, if it is your fault, who gives a fuck? Like, whatever. People will blame everyone. But, so voice comms might be the stress. Why I think it's stressful, why he looks stressed. One, that last push when there was... Essentially, you're not using your ult. It feels like you're forgetting abilities. And when you should use them. You're too focused on X. And you're so worried about X that you forget about Y and Z. That's why I think you're stressed. Or at least the pressure of the game is causing you to lose focus of basically playing the game. Just how your fortifies were always late. Like, you notice, like, oh shit, like, I'm almost dead, I gotta use it now. Your halt usage, like, you're like, oh, I gotta halt and shoot this guy, I'm looking at the halt, I haven't shot yet, but when he gets halted, I'm gonna shoot him. And then, like, your alts, like, there's, like, 3 times when there was good times to use your alt, and you kind of just sat around not doing anything. So it's this just slowness to react and attention being diverted elsewhere that you're just... That's what's really hurting you. And that's, to me, why I believe it would be pressure or stress induced. You should give less of a shit. It's not that you shouldn't care less, it's that you have to refine your mentality when playing. Worry about you, because you cannot control anyone else. And you kind of got to start at that mentality when you first start playing. So if you're worried about everyone else, and everyone else is your skill level, and they're not doing good, well, then you won't do good, because you're basing it off of not good players. Just worry about yourself. But there's just a lot of times that you were doing the right thing, or you're doing the right thing like 5 seconds later. Like, it finally queued up to you. There's a queue. And it was just like, forget, stress, yada, yada, yada. And then the time to be like, play shield. And then finally work through this queue and you get to it. But yeah, there's just a lot of abilities. There's a lot of things you're just doing late. And again, I don't even think this is an Orisa issue. And this is why I know people are like, he's a one-trick Junkrat. Why would we ever listen to him about Orisa? Very few of these things I would consider Orisa specific. And more just like Overwatch in general, and getting comfortable with Overwatch and the mechanics in it. I think Chro said something along the lines of enable your teammates at one point. Yes, at lower ranks, it's about, well, actually all ranks. My essentially playstyle is to support Junkrat. I enable my team. That's what I do. I try to control the game so my team can hit. If you have control, you can strike at any time. And that's a Wing Chun proverb as well. Do not vie for the kill, vie for control, because then you can kill at any point in time. You're trying to keep track of everyone, both on my team and the other team, and I'm babysitting them a lot. Yeah, there's your fucking problem. Worry about your team to a point, but at a certain point, you can't worry about them forever. You have to step up, put the shield down. You're like, this is how I'm going to play Orisa. Here's the shield. This is the right option. How my team plays around that shield is not my issue. But as an Orisa, once you place the shield, it's there permanently. Well, not permanently. You know, for whatever, 8 seconds. 9 seconds now. It's not like a Rhine shield where, like, alright, I gotta play with my team because if they go right, I gotta help them on the right side. Like, I gotta put my shield where they're at. With Orisa, it's a little bit more... You throw it down and you're like, team, use the shield to your advantage. I can't move it. Evil Toaster plays like this. You just made me realize. Plays like what? Where he just throws a shield down and tells his team to work with it? Well, that's kind of how Orisa works, because her shields, you place the shield. You don't actually get to control where it's at. You put it in the right spot, and then your team... It's up to your team to use the shield. It's not up to you to keep the shield where they can use it all the time. Obviously, you're going to move it to where they can use it better, but it's different than a Reinhardt shield in that aspect. You're giving your team a resource to use actively. You're not actively using a resource for your team. In that respect, there is that issue with Orisa where you have to be pretty confident on where you throw down your shield. because it's there and your team has to use it. You gotta hope it's right. No, you gotta hope it's right. You gotta make this is the best decision for my shield at this point in time. Let's go with it. But again, with all this Orisa talk, it's just it's Overwatch mechanics and Overwatch general knowledge that you're lacking or having issues with, nothing Orisa specific. I would assume if we saw your other heroes being played, you would exhibit these same issues. The problem nuclear card with that is that there's already too many things to focus on for getting better. If you give someone 3 things to focus on, they'll probably not focus on any of them. I like to discuss them, but if what he needs to work on is this kind of the pressure or stress and whatever the source of that issue is. So he's saying he feels like he has to babysit his team and he has to keep track of everyone on the enemy team. And that's probably the source of all these variables in his head that he can't figure out, and that's why he's lacking the proper response at the time, or at least a timely response for whatever's happening in the moment. So essentially, the underneath layer of this is what you got to work on, and you're saying it's worry about everyone in the game. So that's what we have to attack. That is the source of all your issues. If we can straighten this up, then all of a sudden, all this other stuff kind of... because stop watching halt would get fixed, shooting more would get fixed, understanding line of sight and enemy line of sight would also kind of get fixed, your ability to fortify and push up with logistics would kind of get fixed. As far as I'm concerned, you have one issue, and that is the pressure and stress, which stems from worrying about your teammates as much. I wouldn't say it's confidence. I mean, yes, it is confidence to place down your shield and just be like, yes, this is the right answer. But it's Overwatch, and understand there's just 6 people, and if you throw down a shield and your team gets behind it, it works. You don't gotta be like, oh, but this guy could go X, Y, and Z and do something crazy, and this guy could be, blah, 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 and do something crazy as well. Well, that's a lot to worry about. Place down a goddamn shield, start shooting people. It gets a lot simpler then. That's why you keep looking at the flanks and behind me. Use your ears for that. And just understand what's in front of you and what that tells you about your flanks. If you're pushing and you see 6 players in front of you, you don't gotta look at shit. You move up, you put down the shield, and your team should be there. If your team is on just a completely different wavelength, they're like, oh, we were going left side and you were on the right flank. Yes, obviously, if there's that big of an issue, you should be looking around. But on Volskaya, at most 2 CPs, it's like you go one way with your team, you throw it on a shield, and you keep on doing things. So focus more on yourself and what you got to do that's right, rather than focusing on everyone else. I guess that's one way to attack this worry that you have about everyone babysitting. Any other questions? So it was a good discussion. Your first bits today had a question, but I forgot what it was. Did I answer it? Was it they don't like one tricks, then they release 222 roll Q? Explain, please? Is that what you're talking about? How much work does my aim need? I wouldn't worry about your aim at this level. As you play more, it's going to get better naturally. Obviously, you can look at it and work on it, and it should help you a bit, but I would tell you not to worry about aiming right now. It's just going to come naturally. It's something that we can talk about, but I can't teach. As for how much work, like, are you saying, like, how good I am with my aim? The problem was you didn't shoot that much. There's some one-trick Orisas that are real fucking good with aiming. So the ceiling is quite high. Just play the game more, and you'll eventually get better and better and better at tracking. It's like with projectiles, I can't tell you how to aim them. I can be like, this is what I do. Not that it helps you. It makes sense in my mind, and I act on it, but I can't tell you how to do it. I'll tell you this much. I didn't notice your aim being off so much as I did just the decision to shoot or to not shoot. And as for the question, they don't want one-tricking. Well, they didn't say they didn't like one-tricks. They said they didn't plan for it. And in hindsight, it was a big mistake that they didn't see that coming.